there, it's Grandma Roseanne, and we're going to make a dish today that is so hearty. It's middle of February, and a lot of you are out in that very, very cold Midwest and East Coast, so I wanted to give you something that would just kind of warm your insides. So what we're going to make is a ground beef potato casserole. It has a few elements, it has a few steps, so I think it will be delicious when we're done. The very first thing I did is I started with the potatoes, and I got 2 pounds of russet potatoes. I peeled them, I sliced them about maybe quarter to about that thick, however thick that is. And then I parboiled them, and I parboiled them just when it came up to a boil. It was only about 1 minute. I stuck a knife in. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be mashed potatoes. Then I removed them immediately from the hot water and rinsed them in cold water. And then I didn't want them to turn brown, so I've left them just in some water right here. So parboil, done. We'll set that off to the side. We will use that in a little bit. Now in my skillet here, I have 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now you can use butter if you'd like. You can use any kind of oil. I just liked the flavor of the olive oil for this. So we're going to let this heat up just a little bit, and then we're going to start building the flavors in this dish. And there are so many flavors. You are going to love them. To start out with our onion, and I've got a 1/2 cup of onion. Just going to, we don't need to caramelize this. We just want to get the raw taste out of the onion. So I'd say just maybe like a couple of minutes is going to be enough. And because you are expert cooks, you know not to put your garlic in first. You know to let the onions soften and saute a little bit because the garlic will burn. And you already know that, I know, because you've watched a lot of our videos. So now we're putting in 3 cloves of garlic. I'm using a minced garlic here, but you can, I'm using a garlic paste, but you can use minced chopped garlic too, whatever you like. We want to be sure that this cooks. Gets that nice flavor, that beautiful aroma. Now I have a half a cup of peppers. You can use any peppers you want. I have yellow and red here. If you prefer green, use whatever you want. I just like the milder pepper, but it's just a preference, so it really doesn't matter. It's just totally up to you. We're going to let that soften. And to this, I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef. Now, there's a term for this, and I don't remember what it is, but you just cook this until it is really, really crumbly. And there's a cooking term for it, but I forgot what it was. Now this is where we're going to get all our flavor, and I want the flavor in the meat as it's cooking. So I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of seasoned salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. Now you know how seasoned this is going to be. It's going to be outrageously delicious. And you really want to mix it in because you want that seasoning to be well blended into your meat. And if you're on a medium heat, you're probably good. Okay, cameraman, come take a look. We're starting to get crumbly. Have you guys remembered to subscribe? Do. If you knew how excited we got every time we got 1 more subscriber, you would giggle. Now, people that have 4 million subscribers don't get excited, but we get excited. And I want this very crumbly before we go to the next step. Okay, we're ready for the next step. And we're going to put in, I'm going to get just a little hole in there. And I've got 1/4 cup of butter. I want to melt that down. That just gives you such nice flavor to really enhance the flavor that we're already developing. All right. Now we have 5 tablespoons of butter. No, we don't either. We have 5 tablespoons of flour. All right. Let them look at that, cameraman. Because what this is going to do is thicken. And we want to cook it long enough that we are able to cook the raw taste out of that flour. Now to this, I'm going to add 2 cups of beef broth. Now what I have done is I have moved this over to another burner. We're going to let it continue to absorb all the liquid. And while that is working on that, we are going to start the sauce that goes into it. And we're going to make a bechamel. That is nothing more than just a white sauce. So don't let it kind of put you off being too fancy. Okay, so we're going to make the sauce now. And in my pan, I have melted 4 tablespoons of butter. We're going to add 4 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to cook that a little bit. See how it's churning? We need just a pinch of salt. And I'm slowly going to add 2 cups of milk. All right, continuing on. So we took our time with the sauce, and now we're just going to kick that heat up a little bit. It was like on a medium. I'm going to take it to a little bit of a medium high, and then we're going to allow it to thicken. In the meantime, don't forget your meat over here. You want to keep kind of stirring that around. It doesn't stick to the bottom. For those of you that cook a lot, can you, as you're making something, can you actually know what it's going to taste like just given the ingredients that you've put in? I think when we cook a lot, we learn to develop that. And cameraman can really attest to that too. Because when I tell him we are having Brussels sprouts, he knows exactly what they're going to taste like. Oh, he hates Brussels sprouts.
That's a fact.
This is the consistency you're looking for. You see that? You see how it's just dripping off that spoon? Just like that. That's perfect. Now I've shut off the heat, and we're going to do one last addition. It's going to be some nutmeg. If you haven't seen it, it's like this. It's whole nutmeg. I much prefer this to nutmeg that has already been ground, simply because it's easy to grind. You just do this, and it's so much better. I don't know how much. Just that much. Important to always taste your sauce, your meats, whatever, for seasoning, okay? Really good. Really good. All right, we are ready to start assembly. Now, what I did when I was off camera there, and don't ask me why I forgot to film it, but I drained this. It had more fat on it than I wanted, so I just put it through a strainer, got rid of all of the fat, okay? Now, I have a prepared 9 by 11, and so on the bottom of this, we're going to just layer all the potatoes, just like this. And these were parboiled just perfectly, guys. Now remember, these potatoes have not gotten any seasoning, so a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then here I have 8 ounces of cheddar cheese, and it really should be shredded, but it's not, because I had shredded cheese. I used it all. This was more chunky cheese, but it's all going to do the same. So I am just using this. It's going to melt anyway, so it's not going to make any difference. So this 4 ounces goes on top of the potatoes. After you have spread your cheese onto your potatoes, now we're going to go ahead and ladle on all of the meat. Ooh, this smells good. Cameraman's going to be happy. Then we put the rest of our cheese on top of the ground beef mixture. And on top of this, we're going to ladle the bechamel. We did good. It's going to go into a 375-degree oven. It's going to be there 45 to 50 minutes, and then we will take it out. I will show you the masterpiece we have created. That we allow this to cool down, otherwise it'll just kind of slide all over the place, but we want it more to be in this consistency. So we allowed it to cool for 25 minutes. We're going to slide it over onto my plate because I get to take a taste of it. All right, that potato is cooked perfectly. We have got so much good stuff in here. Let's just see how it tastes. Wow. There are so many flavors coming through that. Really good, okay? Really good. So, cameraman and I are gonna have food for dinner here. My neighbors are gonna get their dinner too, because we will send some down to them. I know, wouldn't you like to be our neighbors? We send so much food to our neighbors. So anyway, come back, subscribe, hit the bell, ingredients below, and we love having you with us. Bye, see you on the next video.